Hey everyone. A few weeks ago, we talked about the big Social Security change scheduled to take effect on March 7th. Since then, a lot of you have had questions. Some of you are concerned. Others are just wondering what this is actually going to look like in real life. So let's clear something up right away. This is not a change to your benefits. Your payment amount? The same. Your eligibility? The same. Your payment dates? The same. That part is steady, and that's important. But here's what is changing: the system behind the scenes. And sometimes, changes to the system can quietly affect things like wait times, how quickly your case moves, and even who ends up helping you. So if you rely on Social Security, or plan to, this is one of those updates that's worth paying attention to. Before we dive in, quick question for you. Do you feel prepared for this change? Or are you still unsure how it might affect you? Let me know in the comments. Where things stand right now, we're just days away from the March 7th rollout. Again, your benefits are not changing. But the way cases are handled is. Instead of your local Social Security office managing most of your case, things will now be routed through a national system. That means, appointments may be scheduled through a centralized calendar. Your case could be handled by someone in a completely different state. On paper, this is meant to fix a long-standing problem. Before this change, where you lived made a big difference. If you were in a busy area, like parts of California or New York, you might wait weeks for certain services. But in quieter areas, things could move faster. It wasn't equal. The goal now is to balance that out. Some analysts suggest that shifting even 15 to 20% of cases could reduce backlogs in overloaded areas. So in theory, if your local office is swamped, your case might move faster because it's being handled somewhere with more availability. That's the potential upside. But here's the other side: not everyone will feel that benefit the same way. If you already had good service locally, you might not notice improvement. In fact, you might feel like things become less personal. Before, you might speak to someone who understood your local situation, maybe even the same person more than once. Now, it could be someone across the country picking up the next available case. That may sound small, but it changes the feel of the system. And this is where some concerns come in. Programs like SSI and certain disability processes can vary by state. Some states offer additional payments or have slightly different procedures. With cases handled nationally, there's concern that staff may not be as familiar with specific local nuances. That doesn't mean they aren't trained, but it could mean more back and forth in some situations. And if you're dealing with something time-sensitive, like an appeal, that matters. Deadlines are not changing. If you're appealing a decision, you still have the 60-day window. That doesn't pause just because the system is transitioning. Even small delays or confusion during this shift could feel stressful for people in those situations. The staffing factor: this change isn't happening in isolation. The Social Security Administration has about 7,000 fewer employees than it did a year ago. At the same time, the number of people relying on Social Security keeps growing. So yes, this modernization effort is about efficiency and balance. But it's also about doing more with fewer workers. Both things can be true at the same time. Some early improvements: interestingly, even before the full rollout, there have been some reported improvements. Call answer rates have gone up. Average hold times have come down, at least compared to previous levels. More interactions are being handled through callbacks and automated systems. The My Social Security online account continues to expand. Over 50 million people are already using the online system. And clearly, that's where things are heading. If you're comfortable online, you may actually find things smoother over time. But, and this is important, not everyone is comfortable online. Some people prefer in-person help. Some rely on it. Offices are still open. That hasn't changed. But the system is clearly shifting more toward phone and digital support. For some, that feels like progress. For others, it feels like reduced accessibility. So what should you do? Right now, a few simple steps can help. First, keep good records. Write down who you speak to, dates, reference numbers, what was discussed. Since you may not talk to the same person twice, having your own record makes follow-ups much easier. Second, if you're able, consider setting up or checking your My Social Security account. It's not required, but it gives you more visibility into your case. And if you prefer in-person help, remember, local offices are still there. The biggest change is happening behind the scenes. The bigger picture: Social Security now serves more than 72 million Americans. That's massive. Changes like this aren't just about technology, they're about keeping a very large system functioning as demand grows. But this isn't just any system. People depend on it for rent, groceries, healthcare, basic stability. So even small operational changes can feel very personal. We're at the beginning of this transition. Some people may eventually experience faster service. Some may experience confusion or simply a different experience than they're used to. And both of those realities can exist at the same time. Over the next few weeks and months, pay attention to your own experience. That's what will ultimately determine whether this change works. And I'd still love to hear from you. How are you feeling going into this rollout? I'll keep following this closely and updating you as we learn more. Because changes like this don't show their full impact right away. They unfold over time. Let's keep watching together.